today on Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
It's not a numbers game. You know, tapping 1,000 strangers once and, you know, throwing up on them with a tweet or a blurb or an email or a LinkedIn post or whatever, throwing up on 1,000 people once is nowhere near as powerful as building a relationship with 10 folks that you've intentionally befriended that you would like to eventually invite to become your next client.
Now I'm getting really excited. Okay, this is the part where I'm going to get loud.
Holy crap, here we go.
I like telling stories.
I learn best through experiences.
Everything I do is because of everything I did.
Talk about having maximum impact while having a ton of fun.
When you can net through that, what you do leave behind for your listener will have more impact.
Wow, bring it on.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond. Wait a second. Lou Diamond? He sounds like somebody's brother-in-law that won't stop sleeping on the couch.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. Today on Thrive Loud, we bring you a man who has helped hundreds of companies, entrepreneurs, and groups tap into the power of thought leadership marketing. He is the #1 best-selling author of Do It Marketing, 77 Instant Action Ideas to Boost Sales, Maximize Profits, and Crush Your Competition. He has what I call the customer service trifecta, having worked inside organizations, consulted for them, and has worked with solopreneurs to help them raise their game. He loves Trader Joe's, reminds us that action eliminates fear. He is the maximizer. Thrive Loud listeners, David Newman. David, how are you today?
Lou, it is great to be here, buddy.
I will say this, that I like the term fast friends. It is one of those things that when you meet someone and you connect with them right out of the gate, you have so many things in common with them that just everything overlaps and clicks. And that is when I met David not too long ago is exactly what happened between he and I, or he and me. I don't know. I'll call my English teacher and we'll figure that part out. Anyway, I wanted the Thrive Loud listeners to hear what this man is all about, because he is quite brilliant, very effective, and very focused. I love the whole term, by the way, being a maximizer. And I think that's kind of where I want to kick things off, David. If you could share with the Thrive Loud fans a little bit about what your journey and how you're doing the things you do right now. And then I have a feeling you and I will have a nice back and forth. Don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Well, so Maximizer comes from the Strengths Finder assessment. And when I took that a few years ago and then looked back on my entire professional journey, or even my entire life journey, I would say that has been a consistent theme. So I'll take you back to college. In college, I majored in drama.
That was 5 years ago, right? That was pretty recent.
That was, oh man, I am, yeah, totally. I'm a babe in the woods here. And this was in the dark ages, like back when like people like me could actually get into a college.
There you go.
So, but then I went to graduate school, and this is where that Maximizer journey sort of kicks off, because I did study theater. But a lot of people that know me or know my personality, they say, oh, yeah, you're an actor. You studied acting. And I didn't. I studied directing. Right. And I have an MFA from the City University of New York in theater. And that was a specialty in stage directing. So as a director, your job is to maximize the performance of others. Yeah. So you get the best performance out of your actors. You get the best performance out of your set designer, costume designer, lighting designer, stage manager. You are the convener. You are the leader of the ensemble, but you're behind the scenes. You're not in the spotlight. I wasn't in the spotlight. I just had a tremendous amount of fun, even for 4 years after graduate school when I did this professionally. Directing, assistant directing, stage managing, literary managing, all of these behind the scenes roles where I got to maximize and shine the spotlight on others.
Right.
Now, while I was doing that, Lou, and that none of that paid very well. Big surprise, folks. Theater doesn't pay all that well. Just so you know. And I was teaching courses at my graduate school. And a friend of mine says to me, this is now the early 1990s, well, David, you seem to be pretty good at this teaching thing, and you can do this for companies, and that's called corporate training. And maybe you can make a living doing that. So in 1992, I got my first corporate training job, and I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting paid for this. This is so awesome. Why? Because I get to maximize the learning of others. And again, you're in that role of the convener, the leader, but you're not in the spotlight, right? The client or the student or the participant in a training seminar is in the spotlight. And when they connect the dots, you've done your job. So I've always been more of a catalyst and a teacher than I have been a performer. Now, like you, I love performing. I love getting in front of the microphone. I love the spotlight, but that's not where I get my major mojo. My major mojo is in consulting, mentoring, teaching, and training others, all the way back to my directing days, all the way back to my corporate training days. And I've been out on my own now since 2002. So I've had, probably more, either this year or early next year is going to be the tipping point where I am going to have spent more years as an entrepreneur than I have as an employee. And so right now it's about 50-50, but I'm just about to tip over. And I've spent my entire entrepreneurial career, Lou, as that thriver, maximizer behind the scenes, helping others thrive like you do.
So I want to jump on this point and add to what you've just said, because this is an interesting question I have. You have this ability to get the most and the best performance out of those that you help with, consultants in companies, individuals like myself, and so forth. Flip it around a little bit. How do you drink the potion that you help create so that you, now having doing entrepreneur or solopreneur for almost more than half your career, how do you drink some of the medicine to make sure that you're doing all the things that you preach? Because the biggest problem that customer service or client service organizations have is they're so focused on helping the others grow that sometimes they forget to look at themselves and help themselves thrive. Talk to me a little bit about how you drink a little of your own medicine.
Oh my gosh. And what a great lesson. Because I'll tell you, in the first 3 or 4 years of my business, sorry about that. Throat clearing.
You're allowed to. You're entitled.
In the first 3 or 4 years of my business, I did none of that. I was the coach without a coach. I was the consultant without a consultant. I was the mentor without a mentor myself. And to my detriment, I had all kinds of help available to me. I had free help. I had mastermind help. I had, inexpensive help. I had expensive help. I had all of these opportunities to invest in my own professional development. And the first 3-4 years, here was my comeback, Lou. People would say, hey, David, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Who would you like to meet? Who can I introduce you to? Even stuff like that, I would say, no, I'm fine. I'm good. Hey, man, thanks for asking. Really appreciate it. I'm good. I was so concerned with looking like I had my act together. I wasn't willing to accept help from anybody, and I was struggling and hitting every dead end and every brick wall in my business. Literally the moment that I started to invest in the right coaches and the right mentors and the right programs to accelerate my success in all three of these categories that I mentioned, Lou. Some of it was free. Some of it was like mastermind buddies and friends, and we met over coffee and we just kind of hung out, or we had weekly phone calls. Some of it was hiring, very expensive coaches and mentors, which I would totally do again without a hesitation, without any moment of hesitation. And then there was even like the medium cost kind of help that we get from our professional and trade associations like the National Speakers Association, or back in the day it was ASTD, now it's called ATD, where the trainers go, or ICF, where the coaches go. So at every level, I started to invest in the free help, the free advice, the free mentorship, the low cost, trade and professional association meetings, and the fellowship and the education and the communities there, and invest major dollars. And I mean major, like capital M. I'll fast forward this to today, Lou. I spend over $80,000 a year today on my own coaches and mentors who help me get my business to where it needs to be and where it needs to go in the future.
Okay, that's powerful. And by the way, thank you for sharing that. Too often people talk about non-specifics, and I think when they recognize, oh, well, I'm investing in myself, or I'm doing that, when you actually put a real number on it, people can say, oh my goodness. And I think the softball question to this is, it's paying off, is it not?
Well, it is. And I'll tell you specifically why. So, my entrepreneurial journey was, again, stumbling and fumbling and kind of being a goofball for the first few years. Around 2008, 2009, I cracked six figures for the first time. I was making like 100, 125,000. That started to elevate and escalate, making a couple $100,000, 2, 3, 4. In the year 2015, I cracked the 500K barrier. 2016, I did about the same amount. And this sounds psychotic. Even as I tell this story, Lou, this sounds totally psychotic. I was pissed. I was upset. I was flatlining my business. I wasn't growing. I had 500K in 2015. What the heck was I doing staying stagnant at 500K in 2016? That's when I really upped my investment in the right mentors who were doing what I wanted to do in the way that I wanted to do it. And with my team, I don't take sole credit for any of this because I've got a fabulous team of 7 awesome people who work with me now. But in 2017, we hit 7 figures plus. And we're just going up and up from there. So that doubling of a 500K business up into the 7 figures, I could not have done without my amazing team, without my amazing coaches and mentors, and without people holding my feet to the fire the way that I hold my clients' feet to the fire. So when you talk about integrity and you talk about resonance and you talk about congruence, that, be very, very careful, folks, about the coach without a coach and the mentor without a mentor, because something's funky there. Something's not right if they're trying to sell you something that they don't invest in themselves.
First of all, great stuff and great facts. I was going to put the parallel to this. Recently, I had just watched, there was a golf tournament on TV, and they were showing the professional golfers on the practice tee. And there was like an army of coaches around one of the top players. I believe specifically in this particular case, it was Rory McIlroy. Not important. It doesn't make a difference, because if you went to every single one of these tee boxes of the top 50 players who make millions of dollars every year, they're surrounded by these unbelievable minds, coaches, and experts, whether personal trainers, physical trainers, and in many of these cases, where's your mindset at? Your mental, their coaches. And I always love carrying that analogy over into every top leader and every top performer. The investment that you are taking from the outside world is going to help you grow, but it's not only going to help you grow, it's going to continue to push you and continue to take you to that next level. And kudos to you and your team for being able to not only recognize that, but also make the appropriate adjustments so that it continues to go to that level. And that is why you truly do it, which I love, David. And I wanted to spin this part of the conversation to this. Talk a little bit about the work you're doing specifically, because I actually think it's fascinating. Let's get out of the working on your business and talk about the business that you work in with your clients. Talk about some of the things that you do specifically that really help raise the game for a lot of your customers. Because the Thrive Loud fans need to know this. The first interaction I had with David from a follow-up was one of the most effective. I got, you can maybe share the video email that I received and talk about some of the solutions that you present with your clients.
Sure, absolutely. Well, so we'll spill the beans and relieve the tension on that first one. What I did after meeting Lou, and like he said, we instantly hit it off. It was that kind of instant fast friends. brothers from another mother kind of bromance thing happening, which happens once in a blue moon. I mean, it's not, in my world, it's not very common. So I love you, man.
I love you too, David.
And I sent him a video email. And the video email that we use and recommend to our clients, because it's a great rapport builder, it's a great prospecting tool, it's a great relationship building tool, it's a great relationship maintenance tool, is called Bomb, which is the world's goofiest name. It's like the word bomb, like the bombs that explode, times 2. So bomb.com is the name of the video email. So what we really teach our clients from the get-go, and just to be clear, our clients are going to be speakers, coaches, consultants, various kinds of thought-leading experts. Lou mentioned the power of thought leadership marketing, and that's really what we teach. So the nickname for what we do is marketing for smart people. What marketing for smart people really is strategy before tactics. So dialing in your business model, your service model, your revenue model. What are you offering? Who are you offering it to? And what problems are you solving? At the end of the day, every smart piece of marketing, and I even talk about this in the Do It Marketing book, because you mentioned that you love Do It, and there's lots of action items in the Do It Marketing book. Strategy, tactics, implementation, and results. A lot of people jump right to the tactics. They're getting the emails. They're looking at their Facebook feed. They're getting the latest gadget or software or tool of the moment. And they go, okay, I got to automate my tweets. And I got to batch and blast out, 10,000 text messages. And I got to do this new 3-dimensional holographic marketing thing. It's like, whoa. At the end of the day, I'm only going to ask you 2 questions. Number 1, what people do you serve? Number 2, what problems do you solve for those people? And if you can't answer those 2 questions with laser focused, crystal clear clarity, put the tactic down, back away from the computer, back away from that shiny new object, that shiny new tool, that shiny new initiative, that shiny new coaching program, including ours, back away from the computer and do some strategic thinking. There are so many people, especially in the professional services world, Lou, where you meet them and it becomes clear after a 5-minute conversation that they don't really have a business model and that everything that they're doing is sort of reactive. They don't know where their next client's coming from. They don't know where the next prospect is coming from. Every client is different. They haven't packaged up their services. They're not really clear on their fees. And the worst thing about this is when the tail wags the dog. Yep. And where your fee becomes dependent on their budget, it's like, well, Lou, what does it cost to bring you in? Imagine if Lou said, well, I don't know how much you got. That would not be a professional grade answer, right? The professional grade answer that Lou would give is, well, we have a variety of investable opportunities. Before we even talk about that, let's talk about what you need. Let's talk about your company. Let's talk about your team. Let's talk about your employees. Let's talk about your goals, your department, your heartaches, headaches, challenges, and gaps, your goals, your outcomes, your future achievements, what you're trying to accomplish with this meeting, with this training, with this team, with this sales force, with this leadership group. What are you trying to do? And then let me invite you to a conversation about how I can help you. So if you guys don't like the word marketing, you don't like the word sales, I'm going to invite you to delete those 2 words from your vocabulary and replace them with 4 new words. Offer value, invite engagement. That is your job all day, every day. That's what Lou does on this podcast. That's what I do on my podcast. That's what I do with the Bomb videos. That's what I try and do online, offline, social media, every email that we send out. We offer value and we invite people to engage. When I say invite people to engage, that does not mean get married on the first date. That does not mean buy my stuff, because that gets old. It can be a simple micro commitment. Like, share, subscribe, pop a comment below. What do you think? These are ways to engage your audience in your thought leadership marketing so that they get to know you. They get to trust you over a consistent period of time. And when the need arises, when they have a need for your category of product or service or program, you're the first person that comes to mind because you are already their virtual friend. So I remember way, way early in my career, I went to a Jeffrey Gitomer seminar. And Gitomer's just a genius, and I've bought all of his books, and I go to see him live as much as I possibly can. One of the first things, this is like 16, 17 years ago, he said, you don't need more prospects. None of us need more prospects. And Lou, you're a master of this soundbite as well. None of us need more prospects. You need more friends. You need more friends because friends become prospects, prospects become clients. If you don't have enough business, you're not making enough friends.
We love this. And I was on, Gitomer's show earlier in the year, and we talked all about when I speak about the power of connecting. And basically the equation that we both spoke about was for him, for his math in his brain, it thinks about friendship as that connection. I take that connection to the point that it's more than just the friend. It's that other deeper level that you really have the opportunity to grow the relationships. And he is one comical Philadelphia fan, that's for sure.
He is, for sure.
But I love this. Offer value, invite engagement. And I think what is so important, you hit it on the head, those little activities that happen. I spoke recently at Podcast Movement down in Philadelphia, ironically. I wonder, I didn't step on Gitomer. That's because he's in Carolina now because he doesn't want to live there. But that's not important right now. I ended up speaking about the fact that, doesn't matter how many followers you have or how many, people subscribe to your channel. And while that number can be impressive, what is way more important is the engagement, is how much are they forwarding? How much are they reading? How much are they checking out? And even if it's an active channel, you don't need millions and millions of followers. If you have the right audience that you're offering that value to, and they're engaging with each other, it's going to provide you the opportunities that you need. So it's a really interesting looking at, it's not about the size, it's about the motion of the ocean, something of that nature. We'll take that analogy to another level.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is what we teach our clients all the time, is that it's not the quantity of prospecting that you do. If you want to go out there and get speaking engagements, coaching clients, consulting projects, it's not a numbers game, folks. It's a relationship game. And now, you can tell with our banter here why Lou and I are having this bromance, because this is the same kind of stuff that you teach and that you preach and that you share with your clients. It's not a numbers game. Tapping 1,000 strangers once and, throwing up on them with a tweet or a blurb or an email or a LinkedIn post or whatever, throwing up on 1,000 people once is nowhere near as powerful as building a relationship with 10 folks that you've intentionally befriended that you would like to eventually invite to become your next client.
Well said.
Right? Yeah. Think about each of those words. Intentionally befriend, and that's not disingenuous, by the way. That's not phony. You are simply intentionally befriending them. The friendship is genuine, and you've chosen to befriend them because at some point later in the relationship, you truly feel in your heart that you can be of good service to them and that you want to help them. And the best way that later on, once that relationship is fully formed and fully developed and you've earned the right, let's underline that a couple times, Lou, earned the right to ask them for a conversation about how you can help them further, they will be predisposed 70, 80, 90% to say, yes, Lou, I'd love to talk to you. I've been thinking about this. We need to bring you in. We need to have you speak. We need to have you coach. We need you on our stage. That's what you want. So intentionally befriend 10 people in the next 30 days. Stop trying to batch and blast out to thousands.
We are here with the rock star of a man, David Newman, who is maximizing not only all the work he's doing with his clients, but all the opportunities that you're listening to here at Thrive Loud. I hope you're absorbing all this, and we'll make sure we have all the show notes and all the fun things. David, I want to ask you this question that I ask all of the Thrive Loud guests. When you personally are having trouble thriving, who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Most of my stuckness comes from overthinking. Little overthinking, little perfectionism, little micromanaging myself. And I'm probably the only one, Lou. No one listening has any of these problems. What I do is I get into action. I do something. And this has just been a practice where I found if I'm in action, I am a lot less stressed. I am a lot less anxious. I'm a lot less fearful. A lot of people think that, oh, man, once I get to a couple $100,000 of revenue, I'll be great. It's not true. Man, once I get to like 500,000, I've got a $500,000 business, all my problems go away. Not true. Pick a number, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 50 million. You ask people running these companies like Lou, you have asked these people running these size companies and these executives that are working in these big organizations and responsible for many, many millions of dollars and pulling down very healthy salaries. It never goes away. It's like you never arrive, my friends. You never arrive. So what can you do when you hit those stumbling blocks, those stuck points, those, oh my gosh, maybe it's an inflection point in your business. Maybe it's a big fork in the road about where to take your company or where to take your team, what to do, what products or services to cut or kill, what products or services or programs you'd like to add that are new, a little bit scary but exciting. Take a micro step. Take a baby action step. Do a minimum viable product. Write about it. Brainstorm it. Flip chart it. Mind map it. Do something. And that action will give you traction. The traction will give you momentum, and the momentum will give you results.
The Thrive Lab fans are already aware that we've got probably 2 or 3 minisodes that are going to spew out of this episode, David. You're going to make my editing team go bananas, which is awesome because you're just providing that much great content and great takeaways. You are truly offering value and inviting engagement to this program, which is why you Thrive Loud so well, David. This is great. David, you also offer a lot of great programs and great ways that people can engage. This is the point in the program where I want you to share the opportunities and how others can engage with you, where they can find you, all the plugs, things that you're currently focusing on now. And I think that will be awesome. And we will make sure to provide all of it in the show notes. However, coming from you, it will get more traction.
Absolutely. So a couple of free downloads and some training and some goodies for you guys. The first thing I would invite you to take a look at is our action guide about building a high profit speaking driven business. That's available at davidnewman.com. Let's take that one again.
We'll edit around it. Go ahead.
That's available at davidnewman.com/action-guide. And that's a cool little PDF. You can download it. You can read it in about 10 minutes, and it will give you a ton of ideas about how you can start going down this path. The second thing I would offer you is a free training that we have online. It's a webinar training called Sell More Speaking. And it's actually about selling more speaking, coaching, consulting, whatever services you offer. That's available at davidnewman.com/sell. And then I mentioned the Do It Marketing book. My main website for all things Do It Marketing, of course, is doitmarketing.com. The companion tools and downloads that go with the book are at doitmarketing.com/book.
I love it. I feel like I just keep hearing do it. I keep thinking of that Saturday Night Live bid when the guys who were, the Hans and Franz, do it. It just keeps coming out.
Do it. I
figured it's where it probably came from in some subliminal way or something. David, this has been awesome. And everyone is totally getting your energy and everything that's there around you, which is great. And I'm glad you're on the program here today. I've got 2 more questions for you because I want to dive into this avenue. I loved the expression about the fact that you recognized that you are really good at that directing piece, and that's what you trained for. And most often you will find in Hollywood actors that eventually move over and start directing because of their familiarity with wanting to get deeper into the process. And every now and then you run into a lot of the people like, I'm trying to think of his name right now, and I just had it for a second, Sidney Pollack, the late Sidney Pollack, who was an amazing director, but eventually in his career pushed himself in front of the camera, actually became an actor a lot more often than he was directing later in his career. Do you see that opportunity happening more where you playing that role of the director start to maybe put yourself out a little bit more front and center on the stage?
I do. It's such a great question. And, I think it's part and parcel of the integrity piece. So there are, doctors who teach medical school, and then there are doctors who teach medical school and still maintain a private practice. So I went from private practice as a doctor in this analogy to teaching medical school and training hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doctors. But my own private practice has been really dialed back until now. And I am getting back out there more myself. So what a great question. Absolutely. And of course, I love it just like you love it. And it sharpens our game with our clients as well.
I mean, I always found that the difference is really how you're getting your message out, whether you're working in a client-focused, working inside the walls or one-on-one in a coach. It's either one-on-one, it's like double-clicking and spacing out. One-on-one, a group setting, a company setting, a series of company settings. You're just changing maybe the length or the way you're interacting and how that message is. And I think that consistency is something that you have in you, and your personality just comes out. And I think it's really engaging. So hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of you out there, and looking forward to it, obviously, as we continue our bromance and all that stuff, So we know this is going to be an interesting question. And now, understanding a little bit of your background and your training, David Newman, what is your all-time favorite movie?
I'm going to go with La La Land. It's so funny because our conversation, Lou, went to Hollywood and directing and acting and Sidney Pollack, who I love, by the way. And, La La Land is a story about, to my mind, it's a story about Hollywood, story about being in show business, but it's really about following your dreams as an entrepreneur, doing what you were built to do, whatever the cost may be, and however winding and painful and funny that road may be. But you know what? We ultimately get there. It might just not be in the way that we think that we will get there, but we will get there, and you will get there. So you will get there, but just maybe not on the straight road, but on a very interesting, curvy, circuitous adventure. And that's the adventure that we're all on together.
David Newman, absolutely a pleasure. We're going to gold star this Thrive Loud episode. I don't know how I'll do that. I'll put it in there in a way. Must listen, because you're just that awesome. And thank you so much for coming on the program.
My pleasure. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, sooner than later, I imagine.
Love it.
And to all the Thrive Loud listeners out there, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.
Lou Diamond, always bright, always shining, from the light shining off his bald head.